So we have identified the boogeyman of the NFL. Yeah, the boogeyman. Like, you probably shouldn't be scared. You probably shouldn't be threatened. But there's something about him. You know, like something about him that just, ooh, gotta be careful. Gotta be careful. It's like when you're a kid. You know, my son's going through that a little bit. He's convinced, like, hey, there's something over there. I don't know. It's like, no, well, look, it's not. You know, it's just, you know, your mom's hat hanging on the wall. Like, I can assure you, it's not an orb. It's not a flying saucer. It's not spacecraft coming up from the ocean. Like, I can assure you, it's your mom's hat that she spent way too much money on and has worn once. But the point is, the boogeyman doesn't need to really be a legitimate threat. He just needs the perception of the threat in order to have a real impact and a real effect. And apparently, the boogeyman of the NFL is none other than North Carolina head football coach Bill Belichick. This is wonderful. So if you hadn't seen the news that came out, oh, Bill, trust me, you're adding a lot. You are adding a ton. Addressed. Now, Bill, we're going to address it now. All right, you don't tell me how I run this show.
Okay, thank you.
With all due respect. I don't know if you happen to see this, but you remember what a disaster Hard Knocks, the offseason of the New York Giants was? Do you remember that? Listen, it went great for everybody who watched. It went great for HBO, but it didn't go real well for the New York Giants and Joe Shane and the front office there as the negotiations with Saquon Barkley were played out on television, and as it turned out, boy, what a swing and a miss. Kind of screwed that one up. It was basically the joke the entire year as the guy they let walk because they were nickel and diming him to a division rival that the owner didn't want to happen, ended up having a near historic season, won a Super Bowl. Kind of worked out well for him and worked out horribly for Joe Shane and the Giants. And so you looked at that and said, man, boy, what a terrible idea that was. Whoa. But instead, it's back. Because the next off-season installment of Hard Knocks is going to feature Bill Belichick and the North Carolina Tar Heels. The football team at North Carolina is going to be featured on the next edition of Hard Knocks. Now, I look at this and I go, this is awesome. I'm interested. I want to watch. First of all, Belichick is fantastic at television. He's great. If there's a reason why he had so many opportunities afterwards, because people saw what he did on the NFL Network when he did the countdown of the 100 greatest players. I believe he might have even won an Emmy for it. He was phenomenal. And so when you see him doing all of these other things, whether it's podcasts or TV shows or appearances and all that, you go, God, that doesn't seem like Belichick. No, he's great at it, just like Nick Saban's great at it. And so Belichick is going to be featured on Hard Knocks. And I'm going to watch, and I'm more likely to watch this than I would have an NFL team because it's Belichick. Also because it's a different vantage point. It's a different look. One of the greatest shows on Netflix, one of my favorite shows in the history of Netflix was a show called Last Chance U. Now, some former players are suing because apparently they were misrepresented, but it was about junior college football and players that were on their last chance. They'd either burned a bridge at a higher program, and so they went to a junior college program, and they did profiles on different junior colleges throughout their time. I think it might have lasted like 4 or 5 seasons, maybe something like that. But it was great because you got to have access into a place that you wouldn't have had access to, and you got to really see behind the scenes. Now, it may not be as in-depth. Belichick is going to have final say on all that, but at least it's a different perspective on football and a different-looking Hard Knocks. So for that, I'm in. But apparently, not everybody's in on this. Because according to Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk, he has learned that some owners aren't thrilled with the decision to feature Belichick on an NFL-owned platform. And the feeling is, why are we doing this for that guy? To which I asked the question, why do you care? And the only reason you care is because there is a don't go near that guy vibe when it comes to Belichick in the NFL. And if you don't think that's the case, then I ask you this. How come the greatest coach in the history of the league, in 2 different hiring cycles, with a dozen plus jobs open, well over a third of the league hiring coaches 2 consecutive years, or with combining 2 years, how come that guy only had 1 job interview during that entire time? Does that make any sense? Like, I can understand, well, he took a year off. Okay, fair. So did Mike Vrabel. Yeah, but, like, maybe he's a little bit older. Okay. So was Pete Carroll. Multiple interviews, landed a job. There is something that is happening between Bill Belichick and owners around the NFL. And I think it is hilarious how Belichick is handling this. I think it's hilarious. Because he's basically letting them know, by the way, I'm still here. And if you think you can just shut me out because of whatever reasoning you have, whether it's insecurity because you're worried I'm going to come in and want to do things differently, because God forbid the greatest coach of all time would want to operate in a way that he thinks would work. God forbid. He's letting everybody know, you think I'm leaving, right? You think I can't adapt? You think I can't be a part of this world? Okay. I'll just kind of surround the entire facility. That's what I'll do. I'll just kind of happen to be in the neighborhood. Hey, Bill, you're old. Listen, man, your time has passed. Yeah? Okay. How about this? How about I do like social media? How about I do podcasts? Podcasts are, kind of important. This talking kind of important. Might even win people elections and stuff like that. But how about Bill Belichick just looking around going, okay, so you don't think I could be a part of all this? You don't think I could work in today's climate? You think my time has passed? You think it's outdated and whatever I've done is not going to work? Watch this. Not only will I operate through the media in a way we haven't seen other coaches do ever before, I'll also take a job at another level, build the program exactly like I would an NFL job, tease you with a small buyout in case you did want to entertain the idea of having me back. And I'm going to do all of that understanding that there are owners in the league who are terrified by bringing me in. Because I would actually challenge them. Because I would actually challenge the entire structure of the organization. And by the way, organizations that are hiring coaches probably need to be challenged. That's why they're hiring coaches, because they were terrible the previous year. He's doing all of this to let everybody know, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to make you have to tell me no. I'm going to make you have to answer questions as to why I didn't get interviewed, why I didn't get an opportunity, why I wasn't involved in the process multiple years in a row. I think it's hilarious. And the fact that owners are not happy that Belichick gets this opportunity tells you everything you need to know. Whether Bob Kraft went around and kind of threw him under the bus and called other owners and whatever he did, the fact that Belichick isn't allowed in the house, but instead has camped out in the front, the side yard, the backyard, and even taken a dip in the pool, lets everybody know I'm not going anywhere easily, and you're going to have to deal with this moving forward.